Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and if you're interested in learning about blues bass and particularly an idea that I call Riffled Blues, please do check this video out right to the end. Hey guys, it's James here from eBassGuitar, and I've had a couple of requests on email and in the Facebook group about if I can show some blues concepts. So what I thought I'd do something a little bit different is I would share one of the lessons from my Rookie Blues bass course. I'm going to be demonstrating a concept to you today called Riffled Blues. This is from Module 4, and you'll hear that what we're going to be discussing is a bass line based on the classic blues tune Born Under a Bad Sign. So please do check that out. Below this video there is a link where you can download the PDFs for this lesson. If you'd like to check out the whole of the Rookie Blues bass course, you can get that in the Bass Lab Plus membership, so you can get all of my courses in there. You can also get all the PDFs and the backing track to this lesson too. So please do go and check that out. Again, there's a link below this video for that. Anyway, let's just get straight on with it. This is Riffled Blues and a lesson called Are You Born Bad from Module 4 of the Rookie Blues Bass Intensive. I will see you on the other end. Cheers for now. Welcome to the final part of Module 4. Now we're going to talk about a thing that I call Riffled Blues, which is something which ties in really nicely to the minor pentatonics and the blues scales that we've just been talking about. You may have heard of a track called Born Under a Bad Sign. That is a real classic blues track, and when you listen to that, you will hear that the riff that the band is playing is just absolutely integral. So far, what I've shown you is that the band is always playing slightly different things. So the bass normally has its riff down here, then the piano player will have its part, the guitar player will have its part. With Riffled Blues, everything kind of comes together a little bit more, and the riff is really focused and central in the whole thing. So what I've done is I've adapted this Born Under a Bad Sign and made it into a 12-bar blues. The original track actually isn't a 12-bar. They do more of an involved kind of song kind of format with verses and choruses and little solo sections. But I've definitely played this particular riff over 12-bar blueses, and it works really, really, really well. So that is, we're going to look at using the blues and using the pentatonic to kind of lead the whole feel of the song. The second thing that I want you to do with this track is listen to it from the perspective of supporting the soloists. One thing that we do as bass players is and all musicians do it in this format, is we will adjust the intensity, perhaps the dynamics and the possibly the amount of notes we're playing, depending on how the band is feeling. So we'll often start off quiet, and then things will want to crescendo to a climax and get really loud, and also just support the solo. So if you've got a guitar player really going for it, that's your moment to start really digging in and laying into the bass a little bit more too. But when the singer comes back in at the end, you might want to pull the volume down a little bit. It's light and shade dynamics. It's what gives music interest and stops it sounding like it's kind of all on one level. And that's why the best bands and best musicians sound great, so good, is because there's lots of interest and lots of dynamics and the subtleties of how they're playing each individual note. So what I've done with this track is it's got a real form to it, and if you listen to the drums, particularly the snare drum, which is the thing which gives the crack, it starts off with a rim shot where it's kind of nice and quiet, doom, crack, doom, doom, doom. Then by the end of it, in the middle where the organ is really soloing, there's a real firm backbeat where it's hitting the snare right in the moment, and the intensity of the band underneath lifts. So I want you to look at ways you can build the intensity of your bass lines, and I'm going to show you two little devices now. The first is literally dynamic volume that you play, so we could be playing quietly or you can be playing loudly, so you could be literally digging into it, and as the band ramps up intensity underneath it, that's your cue to really start laying into the bass a little bit more. Okay, and the other one that I'm going to show you is you can use different octaves on the bass. You can play the same musical phrases, but actually place them in different octaves. So you might choose to play up here, okay, or you might choose okay. Can you hear how that phrase down the bottom has a little bit more weight to it? So there'll be different musical situations where you want to play the higher one, which is a little bit lighter, a little daintier, and the one down the bottom which is a bit more earthy. Anyway, so let's get into teaching you how to play this particular song. Do check out the backing track which comes with it and the tab. So we are going to talk this Born Under a Blue, it's called Born Bad, the song I've called it, which is based on the Born Under a Blue Bad sign. So we are in the key of C sharp, okay, so this is kind of C sharp 7 or major that we are in. It's not a minor, but the minor pentatonic bluesy sound works really nicely, and it's an integral part of this riff. So I want to teach you this in C sharp. So our key chord is C sharp there, okay, so our chord 1 is going to be C sharp, our chord 4 is going to be F sharp, and our chord 5 is going to be G sharp. And we are going to use the minor pentatonic across this. We're actually going to continue out of the first octave, so we're going to go, then we're going to, okay, straight up the box shape. So C sharp, C sharp, G sharp, B, and then a C sharp there, and then hit the minor third up the top there. So we're going into the next octave of the blues scale. So I urge you to learn these pentatonics blues scales in 2 octaves going up and down the neck. That really start opening up your fingerboard knowledge of this. So okay, then so 5th, 7th, 8th, and then we hit the minor third, so we get that kind of bluesy sound on the end. Okay, I've stripped this back to a real simple blues, just like we were doing in the first week, so we don't have any quick 4 changes or the 5 at the end, because we're playing the riff here. And then we take it down to the F down here. Okay, so that's how you play it there. And then when we go to the 5 chord, I've put this little rocky feel in, so dun, okay, with a chromatic passing note. This is a point where people would tend to play out a little bit, so you might want to put, okay, so there's some pentatonic fills that I put over the top. So that's a point where you could start breaking out, but just keep it simple for the moment, just to start off. Okay, when you get more comfortable, start adding a little bit more in there if you feel confident enough to do it. So let's not talk about it any longer. Let me play it to you with the track so you can hear this, how this sounds. can see me, we're playing the shape up here using the higher, I guess, pentatonic shape. I'm going to show you how to put it down the octave. But one thing I literally noticed myself doing there, I didn't plan this part of the lesson, but I just want to tell you that what I was doing. With this flattened third, okay, you can get it there and move back. That's actually a more comfortable shape sometimes for me, is to move back to there. Or you can get it as in the pentatonic diagram shape, so you can get it there, okay, on the fourth finger. Okay, so it's an E either there or an E either there. It's totally your call which one you want to do. So that's why you will sometimes see me using either shape, just slightly moving my hand to get that note now. Now I'm going to show you how to put this born bad idea down the octave and use a different shape. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the C sharp there to root, okay? Up here we were doing, okay, going up and hitting the octave at the top. But okay, if we had a 5-string bass, we could start on a low C there. So sometimes if you're a 5-string player, you might want to imagine that low note there. But okay, so we can take it into that shape. So we're jumping down to get the 5th there and the 7th there. Okay, this is a great thing. It's often forgotten to use the notes below the root. There is always these great selection of notes related to the chord, which when you're sort of playing C's, D's and F's all around here, that a lot of players forget to put in there. Do refer to the tab which comes with it. It's really so helpful just to see this stuff written down. But okay, and then hitting the minor third, and then an open E there. Okay, so that's like the lowest note on the instrument, the minor third. Okay, there's no other place we can get it because there's only one open E on a 4-string. If you had a 5-string, you could get it fretted there. Like that. That fingering shape, there's actually only really kind of one note different in it, and that's not because you're not putting your key note up the octave, but it has a totally different feel to it. Although it's musically identical, it's bizarre, but that's just the way it feels to me. So we can do this, and then we could take that shape up the top, okay, up to the F sharp there. Get either a fretted A there or an open A if you want to continue the shape. Okay, then back to the C there, and then for the 5 chord, I've decided to show you to get it up there. Okay, so a fret 6, the G sharp, you can see, okay, I can't talk and play, but you can see it has a slightly different flavour when you get it up there. And it becomes to be your choice as a musician which one you choose to use. So let's try this with the track now, and you can hear how it sounds. Okay, I'm going to put it up the octave, not the octave, the higher octave. Has a slightly different flavour. as you can see, the more kind of experienced you get with this, the more you'll just be able to liberally kind of float in and out of these different shapes once you've learnt them. And as you sort of feel the band ramping up, so I don't know, we're kind of a couple of minutes in there, you can feel that you might want to give it more grunt and go down the bottom, for instance. You could even put the F up the top. You could even put it there. Okay, these shapes are kind of completely transferable, and what I'm trying to do with all of these is open up the fingerboard with you, so you're not constrained to one pattern. You've got different riffs that you can dig into at different points. So that is Riffled Blues. Do check out the original Born Under a Bad Sign. Do play it with the track there. We're done for now. I hope you've enjoyed Module 4, and I will see you next time. Cheers. So hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that lesson. As you know, that is from the Rookie Blues Bass Intensive. If you want to grab the whole of that course, you can find that in the Bass Lab Plus membership. There is a link below this post. You can grab the PDFs from this lesson anyway, but you can get the whole of the course and all of my other courses and the backing tracks there. So please do grab that link below. If you've enjoyed this lesson, please do give it a like and share on social. If you've got any comments, any questions, please do comment below. Once again, I've been James from eBassGuitar, and I will catch you next time. Cheers for now.